Alright, take 3. I'm gonna make a guide on how to do the first few days in the min-maxing run that I do. A lot of people have been requesting it, so we're gonna do it. It's gonna be bad because I don't know how to edit and I don't have an editor and I'm awful at these things, so I'm just gonna improvise and hopefully it will turn out for the best. So, first things first, when you make a new character, you wanna make a female because to summarize it, they get more stuff from their parents. For some reason, they get more valuable stuff in terms of money, raw money. So you want to go for the female, and name doesn't matter, all that jazz. As far as standard farm or the farm layout, you want to go for standard farm. It has the most layout space. So since we're going to plant as many starfruit as possible and pumpkins, it's a no-brainer. None of these are viable if you're going for starfruit and pumpkins. Animal preference doesn't matter, but we recommend you skip it entirely. Just don't even pick the animal. After you start to save, we recommend you go into the Stardew predictor on the website, Stardew predictor. I'll put the link in the description. It will basically tell you what mushroom source you have. So in this case, we have no mushroom source. This would not be a good run. This is not a run we can actually do, but we're going to do it anyway because I'm just going to showcase the first 5 days in this run. I'm not actually going to showcase the entire thing. And then as far as the mushroom farming goes, we'll do that on another save that already has it. I'd take an example, like we already have this one. This one has good mushroom floors. Not like they might not be optimal floors, but there's floors on every single day. That's the important part. So you want to make sure you have mushroom floors until like at least day 12-ish. Day 12 is usually when I go to Skull Cavern, day 11 sometimes, but around here, like, day 12 is usually where I want the... I'm okay with not having a mushroom floor on day 12, basically. That's basically all we need to check there. So let's say we have a good save. We go into the game, we set up our settings the way we like them, and you zoom out. Not everybody knows about this, but there is a zoom feature in the game. It allows you to see a little bit further out, and just get a little bigger view, basically. So I have a 1080 monitor, but if you have a bigger monitor with high resolution, you're gonna see more of the farm, but this is a 1080, normal 1080. First things first, you sell the parsnips. It's not worth planting them. It takes too much time to water in the beginning, and it's just not worth it. It's better to get the money now because you need it tomorrow to buy the fiberglass rod. We'll get to that soon. I accidentally chopped down an oak there. It doesn't matter for this run, because this is just a test showcase. Do not chop down the oaks. Never, ever, ever do that. So, yeah, don't do what I just did. You need to chop 4 trees now. That's for the chest that we're gonna need. Oops. Just chop this down. There's a second tree right there. Open up some space. Get the 4th one chopped. So sometimes they give you 13 wood, sometimes they give you 12 wood. But all in all, you're gonna need 4 trees, basically. You can pause the game and have them loot the items for you, because the tree still falls when the time is paused, so it can save you a little bit of time. Now we make a chest. Place this little guy here. Drop off all the stuff we don't need. You can keep the fiber. You're gonna get more of it anyway. Might as well keep it. You don't need a watering can. You'll need all the other tools. So now I'm gonna show you the route I always take when I go around the map. I'll have a picture link in the description that shows you the path that I take. Otherwise, you can just follow what I do here in the game, basically. This is the optimal path that saves you the most time, but allows you to check everything in the entire map. You get to check all the forageables, all the trash cans, all the potential artifact spots. I hope I didn't miss one now while I was talking, but yeah, it allows you to get all the good stuff on day 1. So far, this is a horrible save. Not only are there no mushroom floors, but there are no forageables either. Like I said, I would reset this, but this is just to show you how it works, okay? So we're gonna go over here. We see an artifact spot up there. So anytime you see an artifact spot, you want to go there. If you can get an artifact on day 1 and turn it in, it gives you a quest that you can accept here, or turn in here, that gives you 250 gold. That increases your net money by 50%. So your net total is going to be increased by 50%, 250 gold. Super, super valuable. You need every little bit of gold you can get on day 1. because the fiberglass rod on day 2 is not easy to acquire. Costs a lot of money, it's not easy to get. Open up the space here, chop down these. This will give you really useful fiber, which you can sell. And it will allow more forageables to spawn in there. Like I said, we're going to try and gather as much stuff as we can on the farm and on the map in general. There are basically 3 key things we look for in a good day 1. A lot of forageables, a lot of spring onions, which are separate from forageables. They're technically forageables, but yeah. And an artifact spot. Those are the 3 ones, the 3 big ones. Looking behind the trees to see if there's any forageable there. Doesn't seem to be any. So we move on. Now we come down here. Gonna take this. If you have a lot of items at this point, we don't really, but if you had a lot of items, you can go to the farm there while you're at the bus stop and drop off some stuff and then come back again. It's not a lot of time lost. It allows you to utilize your entire inventory. It's very helpful. Got a sardine, interesting. If you're wondering why Robin is there, I do have a few mods installed, like the Robin mod. This is not necessary for this. You don't need any mods for this. So just ignore the fact that Robin is there. It doesn't change anything. Hoping for an artifact, dang it. You can click F4 to remove the UI. That will allow you to see a little bit further. Another book. I don't want to read! Okay. Let's see if there's any other artifacts over here. Nothing. If there are forageables here, just leave them, because if you pick them up, you see my inventory is already like full. You're gonna end up having to throw away some stuff. So I like to just leave them and pick them up tomorrow. You don't need them today, but go down there if you want a forageable, or if you want an artifact. Sorry, we didn't find an artifact, so there's no point in going to Gunther here. If we did find one, we would go to Gunther. Look up here. Go here. This is the second spot, similar to the one next to the community center. You just chop down all this, or as I like to call it, the bundle house, because that's what it is. Then you come down here. This is very important for the run. Give Pam the trash. That's really good. That's high recommend. Now we're gonna go down here. We already checked all these trash cans. Go by the square. Go over here. Check these trash cans. Get this here. And then skedaddle over here. So that's the town done, the mountain done. Now it's only this part left and it's not even 1 PM yet. So it works really well as far as the speed goes. You can get a lot done in a short amount of time. So again, we haven't really gotten much at all today. Like, we've gotten very few items. So we're pretty unlucky in this situation. What I would recommend in a situation like this is to reset, but like I said, I'm just showing you how this entire thing works so that you can use it in a way that you see fit. I mean, you play it in your own way. You make it your own run. You don't need to copy everything. If you want to take a few things from this, go for it. You don't need to completely copy it if you don't want to. Not everyone likes to play in the same way. I throw away the mixed seeds. For the same reason I sell the parsnips. It's just not worth it. We don't have time to water them. And by the time they grow, we will not need them anymore. So it's kind of that's kind of the deal. We're actually going to eat the sardine. Get some more food. Now we open up 3 inventory spaces so we can get all the quality spring onions if they have different quality. We didn't level our foraging, so we're going to chop down this tree here. Don't chop down oaks. Only pines and maples. Now we level up. Now, the interesting thing is we can start shaking the trees. We leveled our foraging up to level 1. That's what you need in order to shake trees. You can't get any acorns or anything from either chopping them from the ground or just like felling trees. You can't get it unless you have level 1 foraging. But the dilemma is that even if you have level 1 foraging, you're still not going to be able to do it. Because every time you level your foraging, you cannot get seeds for the rest of the day. That includes uprooting them, that includes chopping them down. But it doesn't include shaking them. That means that now that we're level 1 and we actually have access to them, we can now start shaking the trees. This allows you to get just a little bit of extra money, which is always useful. You need all the money you can get. Like I said, the fiberglass rod is really expensive. It's going to take a lot of money to get it. If you get acorns, however, don't sell them. You want to plant those. Because we're going to be planting a lot of starfruit this run, which is going to take a lot of kegs to process. We're going to be looking at over 2,000 kegs by the end of the first year. But there could be easily more than that. It depends on how many oaks you get. It depends on how fast they grow or whatever. So it's gonna vary. But just keep in mind, keep all the oaks, plant them as soon as possible. So we shake these on the way back. I don't eat the horseradishes, and I don't eat the dandelions, or daffodils, of course. So I eat everything else, basically. We are actually gonna start chopping some trees. Because we're gonna need to do this anyway, when we go back. And right now we're out of inventory space, so that's kind of why we're doing this. The reason we chop trees is because it gives us a lot of foraging experience, which is really important, because later on we're gonna go to the mushroom floors in the mines, and that's gonna need to get level 5 foraging as soon as possible. Because the 5 foraging perk gives you a chance to get double forageables, which is vital when you're farming mushrooms. You get so many more mushrooms that way. It can be the difference of thousands of gold per day, which in the early game is pretty damn important. Later on that kind of money doesn't matter, but in the first few days of the spring, a few thousand extra gold per day is not something you say no to. You don't need to chop the stumps, there's no point. The stumps only give you 1 experience, the tree crowns give you 12 experience, so you want to get the most out of your chops. Also, the crowns give you more resources when you chop them down as well. I actually don't need to fell any more trees. We already ate all the spring onions, which was the main reason for doing that, actually. Keep shaking all the oaks, or the pine trees. Gather as many resources as possible. Even if we do get a pine cone at this point, we don't have inventory space for it. But I'm just showing you what you should do, how you should do it. The correct idea would be to go back to the farm earlier, but I'll show you what I do. I was afraid this would happen. Okay, so continue down here, keep shaking the trees. Every tree has a chance to give you 5 gold essentially from the pine cones, so it's definitely not something you want to skip. The stones are actually worth more right now, so I'm gonna leave this one here. We'll actually do this. We'll bring it over here. So then when we come back for it, we'll have inventory. We won't have to run that far. Like a little advice. Okay. Now you want to open up this space. If your inventory is full when you go by Marnie's house, I recommend instead of going around to get the spring onions, go up to the farm and do this part first. And then go down and get the forageables. It all depends on how much inventory space you have. We open up a little pathway here, and at the same time we get ourselves some mining experience. So you remember earlier how I said don't chop down oak trees, right? Now, this little sapling here is not an oak. This is a maple. So we can chop that one down without any remorse. There's no need for that tree. We only need the oaks. I'll show you how you can differentiate them. You can look it up on the wiki. It will actually show you what they look like. But that's a maple, and that's an oak. After you play enough, you'll be able to differentiate them quite easily. I'll see if I can find a little sapling somewhere here. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Basically, they look a little bit different. Look it up in the wiki, you will be able to tell the difference. Now we need to start selling some stuff here. We're basically going to sell everything here. I don't keep anything at all. I don't see any reason to keep anything. It's better to have more money on day 2 to spend on stuff, especially if you have a really bad day like we've had so far. This day has been awful. And like I said, I would reset this normally, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. Start shaking the trees as well. Fiber is a really good way to make money without having to expend energy. We're almost level 1 mining. The reason we get level 1 mining is so that we can have copper bombs on day 1 in the mines, or day 5 in the mines. That's why we're doing this. It's also to make a little bit of money, of course, because you do get a little bit of money from them. Every single stone gives you 1 experience. If it has a coal in it, that's 5 experience, so you can level it quite fast. So since this was a pretty poor day as far as forgeables go, we are already out of food, essentially. We can chop down 2 trees, and we will. But priority is chopping fiber. So improvising, when we have like no items that we got from the save or the day, we just try and get as much fiber as possible. And tree seeds, of course. Acorns are super valuable, but I'll take anything on day 1. It's about 5% chance to get something from them. Oops. You can mouse over your energy in the bottom right. It will show you how much energy you have left. So I have 23. That's enough for 1 tree. I know that. It's also going to be like 5 energy left or something like that. 4 or 5. Yeah. So I can chop 2 more stones because that takes 2 energy each. This is useful to really get the most out of your day. Chopping down grass can also help because it spreads really, really fast. I think that's everything though. I think we've gotten mostly everything today. Check if there's anything else. Nope. So like I said before, I don't use the mixed seeds, I just sell them. Now we sell everything else and we go to bed. Now that's day 2. So I'm gonna make another video for the other days, because day 1 is kind of long to explain, because there's a lot to it. But essentially this is what you do, right? You gather all the stuff you can on day 1. Forageables, tree seeds, trash can stuff, artifacts, whatever you can find. Sell everything. We'll see how much we got. I doubt we'll have more than like 1,500, 1,700 maybe. So it's gonna be pretty low today. Yeah, 1,628. That is super low. Definitely not enough for what we need to do. Well, it could be. But I like to have more. I like to have at least 2,000. The most I've had is 2,750 gold. But that is on Hilltop Farm. That's a separate run. But anyway, that's basically what you do on day 2. Stay tuned for day 3. Or, no. That was day 1. Stay tuned for day 2. It's coming in the next video. Thank you.